Hello, my name is Nav, the football scientist, and I run the platform Asians in Football. Asians in Football is a platform where I wish to educate, empower, and involve Asians through the use of football.
So, the two terms, Asians and football, don't always correlate massively.
Yeah.
But what is kind of the journey and the key ethos behind what you're trying to do?
So, some basic facts about Asians in Football. Within the game, 8% of the population in the UK is a British Asian. There is 3,700 players within the leagues going from Premier League all the way down, and there's only 11 to 15 players that are actually from an Asian background. And that really says to me, growing up as a British Asian from the UK, that I know a lot of people from the same background as me that want to play the game of football, that would love to play at the professional level. And when you look at a percentage like that, it just seems so absurd. Because you can go down to any Asian populated area from Birmingham, Bradford, to Southall, to Ilford, and you'll see everyone playing football. So having Asians in Football as a platform, socially, is trying to bring everyone together, to educate us, to showcase the ones that are doing well, and to inform the ones that would love to know what it takes to be a professional footballer.
Why do you think there is a lack of British Asians within professional football?
It's a very good question. I think it would take a long time to actually discuss this topic because there's so many different reasons, because every player, every family member, every coach, every scout would have a different opinion of what the reason is. There is no ultimate kind of like the reason why Asians ain't in the game is because of X. There is no reason like that. There's so many. And I just think always looking at the facts, we're not there at the moment. What are we going to do to get there? What are the actual contributing factors for us to get in the professional game? And actually show the world that we love the game just like everybody else. From the people of South America to North America to the people of Europe. We are a 1 billion population in India and we love the game of football just as much as anyone.
Yeah. And there's no better way to explain that by your recent journey, right?
Yeah.
So explain to us kind of like what you embarked on. And it came out of nowhere, right?
It did come out of nowhere. You on about Christmas or before?
The most recent trip, right?
The most recent trip. Yeah, so again, with one of the things Asians in Football is about is empowering. And what I mean by that is to give back. I'm from a Sikh faith, and one of my foundations is Seva. And Seva is a selfless act to serve others. And I always found difficulties in performing Seva in the local Gurdwara, and I would always say to my father, I don't get the same feeling. Like I would do it, but it wouldn't fulfill me as well. And I know you shouldn't expect anything, but there was always something I wanted to do to give to someone else that was of less fortunate. And then I decided to go out and use what I've gained in sport, what I've gained throughout the many years now of coaching, and then go and inform the community within India. Yeah, so over Christmas, I went over to India again. I went over previously. I went over to see my family and my mum and dad's bend, and someone on Instagram reached out to me and happened to say, look, I heard you in Ludhiana. I would love for you to come to our school and actually coach the kids. I'd happened to be sat doing nothing, and I was just told my mum and father about it, and they were like, yeah, let's go. It was an hour away. We organised the driver. I turned up there expecting just to meet everyone and just the people that run the school. And what ended up happening, ended up being 50 Singhs in front of me, all sat there, wanted to play football there and then. And they said, look, coach him. And I was just literally smile on their face, a smile on mine. And I couldn't believe what I saw, couldn't believe what I filmed, because I put out the work that I did out there, and people were just so kind of like, the feedback was amazing to see a group of 50 Singhs playing football, and they were very good. They weren't rubbish, they weren't novices, they would love the game just as much as us, and they were good players. They were wanting to learn to play the game of football.
Could you ever have imagined being in that position where you're sitting in front of 50 young Sikh boys who are united by like a sport like football? Could you ever have imagined that would have occurred?
Never in a million years. But the vision of Asians in Football is to change lives through sport. So when I went over to India and I saw that in front of me, I saw how powerful sport is, specifically football, and how powerful football is to our community. And look what it did to a group of young kids, regardless if they're Sikh, regardless if they're Hindu, regardless if they're white, black or brown. They loved the game of football and they wanted to play it every day. They didn't want to become Messi, they wanted to just play football every day. And that was the most powerful thing I found, because it resonated with me as a child once in Britain, wanting to play football and play it just because I loved it.
And I'm really interested to know you more as an individual. So what's your journey into sport?
So I grew up playing football all my life, loved it. Grew up in a small village in Scunthorpe, Grimsby area, and I ended up just being obsessed with both my brothers. They were both footballers themselves, and I was never as good as them, but I wanted to be. So like they were kind of they were my gold standard, and everything else was on TV. So from there, I just wanted to just play football anytime I could play football. I was mum and dad were shopkeepers, so the only time I could play was either with a team or in the shop, behind the shop, in front of the shop. So I was just known as the Indian kid that would always be playing football. And what ended up happening is I went to university and I told my mother and father, and I was like, because of my brothers' support and my sister's support, they were like, let him do what he wants to do. Let him take that journey into being a PE teacher or whatever it may be, like let him do that. And I remember telling mum and dad, look, let me kind of go away. Let me see if I can do this independently of any support or being close to you. So I moved from there and I moved down to London, where I met up with one of the first coaches from an Asian background, Rahul Singh. He lives out in Hitchin. He's the main reason I actually came down to Hertfordshire and came down to university. And from him, meeting him and actually seeing him, I was just like, I can't believe there's a coach. I can't believe there's someone else supporting football the way I love it. And he's not even just playing, he's an actual coach of the game. And then through the years of being with him, I ended up into a professional organisation in Arsenal Football Club, where I've now spent 8 years with the club and learnt so much. Honestly, I'm so grateful of the opportunity that I've been given and the knowledge I've gained. There's some stigmas around physically how we look, our nutrition, and mentally. And I just think if we can kind of get past them stigmas, break down them stereotypes and inform us, I think that's where I see one part of Asians in football is the education part through coaching. The empowering is the reason why, like what the purpose behind it. Like it's bigger than us. It's bigger than your individual goal. Like it's somewhere where you can change not only your life, you can change someone else's, and it can put you in a much positive place. There's nothing better than a feeling than playing football. And I think there's many other people that play music, are musicians. There's many people that are actors that have that same feeling when they do the thing that they love. And I want to showcase that, but specifically with our community. And the last one is evolve. It's basically, I know I was kind of supported by someone in my mother and father to pursue my career in sport. I then was kind of idolizing Bal as a football coach, and then many other people. So there's people that have been in the same position as me, and then there's people like myself trying to promote a message. And I just want to evolve us as a culture and see if we keep making the positive moves forward to inform us, to educate us, to then make us better as sportsmen and as people. I think there's no better way.
What advice would you give to like a young boy or girl who wants to play sport? Not even thinking about getting into professional, but just wants to get into sport, but they can't see anyone like them on TV or that they can look as an idol. And sometimes that can be quite disheartening. You look on TV, there's not a single brown face.
Everyone's looking for that role model, and I think there has been certain individuals like Jan and Hamza and Saranpreet now that people are starting to see the door is kind of open now for us to make it in the game. But my message to a young kid is the reason why you want to play football. Is it because you want to be professional and that's it, or do you actually love the game? Do you actually want to? What's your reason why? Are you going to be completely obsessed by that to a point where you really want to do this full time, and then make it that be your purpose? Like, show me that, express it. Actions speak louder than words, don't they? So mine would be, it's just like every kid loves to have fun, right? So do never lose that foundation. Always have fun with what you're doing, but have a reason why you want to do it. I had suffered a kind of a personal situation where my dad went into hospital. He had a heart attack, and in that moment, like it was quite low, quite a low moment in my life, and then a lot of reflection in that time. A lot of other things happened as well. A few losses within there, and in that moment, I remember sitting with my dad, and he was like, "Look, I'd love to see an Asian footballer on the screen. Like, why don't you do it, Nav?" Like, while he was sat there after a heart attack, he was like, don't waste a second. Like, whatever's in there, like, try inspire someone else. Try be the voice for people that don't know what it takes to be a footballer. And then from there, it was kind of like the steps leading to that. It was kind of like, well, I don't speak, I don't present, I don't really talk on cameras, I don't do this. So I literally made it my aim to just put myself out there, even if I came across stupid, even if I mumbled my words, even if I sounded like something you didn't want to hear. And I remember from that moment and putting myself out there to the people that I ended up joining with individuals that were willing to film me. I ended up traveling the world from Portugal to Japan to Colombia to America to present on the work that I've been doing in sport, and not only just Asians in football. And literally, I was amazed at what could happen in a split second. My life kind of changed.
And have you ever taken a moment just to look back and be like, what I'm creating right now is incredible, or for you is it more like this is just the start?
Yeah. I think because I'm lost in it. I'm completely obsessed with the message that I can't look back at it right now. I want to get my message out there and get the community together, and actually push that forward. Like, I think I've made great strides right now, and I definitely do see that. But I just see so much more, and it's kind of like I want to keep doing more. So I want to see what I can do tomorrow, what I can do today.
How do you know when your work is done, or is it just that the work is always going to continue, or do you have like something in mind that you know, like you can look back and be like, yeah, I've managed to make that difference?
It all came from nowhere. Like, it came from sitting next to my father in the hospital room. So it's a year old. This whole concept is like it's a year and a bit old right now. So I'm still getting used to it, of actually trying to put this message out there, the thoughts through my head, the ideas, and then now it's actually coming to reality, it's coming to the surface. So before that, I was doing what everyone else was doing, getting a degree, getting a master's if they have to, trying to get a job, trying to get a mortgage, trying to settle down. And when all those things, you get through those, I've ended up wanting more. And this has been this platform. So I'm enjoying it as much as everyone. It might not look it sometimes because I'm so obsessed with what I'm trying to do, but I am enjoying it each day, each creative moment, each low, each high.